Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you're watching this, I am celebrating 6 years of being a licensed cosmetologist. I'm gonna finish getting ready and also tell you guys a little bit of the story of how my career started and how I got to where I am now within the past 6 years. Okay, so let's get into this career history. Where should I start? You know, as a kid, you kind of have an idea of what you want to be when you grow up. I never had that, so it came more to me in high school. It definitely started with makeup, not hair. I used to love doing my own makeup, just self-taught. I would just play with things that I had, stuff that my mom had for like prom and high school dances. I would do my friends' makeup. Anyone who was down to let me do their makeup for fun, I would do it. And when I got to like my junior or senior year of high school, I still wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but I did have this passion for makeup. And when I thought about a career, I didn't know exactly what I wanted, but I did know that I didn't want to have a boss. I wanted to be independent, have freedom. So with the passion for makeup, I decided, well, maybe if I learn how to do hair, I can be hired for like jobs or events, photo shoots, stuff like that, just as a freelance hair and makeup artist. At the time, Instagram really, I don't know if it was even around or if it was like a big deal, but beauty in the Instagram world was definitely not a big deal. So there was no way, like now, if you just have pictures on Instagram, you can make it, you know. Back then, that was not an option. So out of high school, I took a year off only because I didn't qualify for financial aid to the school that I wanted to go to, and it was super expensive. And fresh out of high school, I barely had like a part-time job, so there's no way I can afford it, and I did have to support myself financially in the school aspect. So I decided to go to Paul Mitchell, the school in Costa Mesa, and it's such a great school. It's one of the best, if not the best, beauty school that you can attend. At that time, there was Maranello was an option, and then just like the little smaller beauty schools. So I decided to go to Paul Mitchell because they have more of a salon focus, where they teach you how to actually work in a salon environment and how to be successful in the salon, as far as like actually booking clients, double booking, selling product, looking at all your numbers and all of that. Because it's a great school and it has a great name, we did have a lot of like clients that came in that we're able to practice on, along with state board and how to pass the board. Versus the smaller beauty schools, they really only teach you how to pass state board, which is not what I wanted. I was working a full-time job from I think like 8 to 4:30, and I would start school from 5 to 10 or 10:30, I'm not sure. So I was in school part-time doing night school, and it took me 2 years to finish school. It's a total of 1,600 hours where you learn sanitation is the main thing. You learn how to work in a sterile, clean environment. If we're taking on a client and it's a haircut or color service or whatever it may be, there's a teacher watching us the whole time and checking in on us. Once you're done with school, you do have to apply to state board in order to get your license. So after I applied, I don't know why, but it took like 3 to 4 months for me to finally get in and take the test. It was literally the most stressful thing that I've ever done. I studied so much. I couldn't sleep at all the night before. When I was like going to the place, my stomach hurt so bad. I felt so sick. Literally, I've never been like that nervous in my entire life till this day. So that was crazy. I was so nervous. I was kind of confident, but also like not really sure. So they do offer, it's called the mock board, where you can go and pretty much practice what the test is going to be like. And there's a crazy story, but I didn't go to any of the mock boards that they offered previous to my test. So when I went in blind. I had no idea what was gonna happen, and it's a two-part test. So one is technical, and they like you go through the process of a color application, highlights, you have to do like nails, facials, eyebrows, I think. My license covers a lot, so they test you on every bit of it. Everything has to be super sanitary, very clean. You obviously can't be looking around because then that's cheating. I was so nervous, and leading up to it, everyone talked about this one person in the testing facility that was like the worst person that you can get. She's like a grumpy old lady and she fails everyone, blah blah blah. So I got that lady. I was already so nervous. I had no clue what I was doing, but I went in, I did it to the best of my ability. So it's a technical test, and then there's a written test. When it came down to the written test, which was part 2 for me, I sat down, started the test. Literally the first 2 questions, I had no clue. I had never even heard about what the question was asking. I started laughing because I was like, there's no way that I'm gonna pass this test. At that point, I was just like, okay, like I'm okay with not passing. I'll just take this as a learning experience, which is what I missed out from mock board. And I was just sure that I was not gonna pass. But once you finish the test, you're dismissed and you can go have lunch, and then you come back and meet in this room where they call you one by one and tell you whether or not you passed. And they finally called my name. I swear I was so sure that I was not gonna pass and she was gonna tell me what to do as far as coming back. And she told me I passed. I was so shocked. I was so relieved. I was so drained. It was so much, took so much energy. It was a Friday too, and instead of going out and celebrating, I went home and slept. Didn't celebrate at all because I was just so exhausted, but super happy to finally be done with it. So once I was licensed, such a relief. I got into my first salon about a month later, and it kind of just happened by coincidence. One of my friends knew somebody that was connected to the manager at Carlton Hair, and she was offered the position, but she couldn't take it at the time. So she referred me, and I went in to meet the manager, and it went great. I got hired that same day. I was so nervous because I just didn't know what to expect, and it's my first salon, and actually fresh out of high school looking for a job. I applied at Carlton Hair for front desk, but I never heard back, so I kind of had a negative feeling about being there. But the interview went great. I got hired that same day. I started shortly after, and I was super excited to work for Carlton Hair because they had a great continuing education system where you get hired as an assistant and you assist for about, I think, 8 or 9 months before you're able to move on to an intense training at corporate. And once you get through that training, you can go back to your salon and get on the floor as a stylist. So even though it seemed like a whole another year of education before I finally got to do hair on my own, I was excited for it because during school you kind of just like look forward to being done, and then once you're done you're like, okay, so what do I do now? Like I have no clue where to start or where to go from here. So I was really excited to just get this random offer to work for Carlton Hair, and got hired right away, went through the assistant program. So I think normally it's about like 8 to 10 months. I only did 4 months of assisting, and not to brag, but I was really good at what I did. So I was able to speed through it, and I only did 4 months of the assistant program, moved on to that training with corporate, and then finally came back to the salon and started taking clients on my own. So a little bit backtrack to when I was in beauty school. that's when I started my Instagram, crystalj_beauty, and I started just posting. And I was the type of student who didn't love to be in school because there was just so much like bookwork and like reporting to the instructors and stuff like that. I just wanted to be hands-on and do the hair. So I wasn't a great student, but I did really focus on the hair aspect of it. And like on the weekends when I wasn't at school, I would do my friends' family, do their hair on the weekend. But I got a lot of that hands-on work out of the way. And I started my Instagram and I started posting my work. I think my first ever post is still on there and it has like 4 likes. Anyway, just being able to have content going on there, and my friends or whoever I was working on, they would tell their friends about me and they would follow me on Instagram. So I started to get a lot of my following from back in beauty school days, which at this point is 8 years. So a lot of people do ask me how I got to that point, and it's just time. I've had it for a long time, and just consistency is what got me there. Since I had my Instagram page, people would reach out to me and want to book. So instead of going to their house or whatnot, since I was now going to be in a salon, I started booking them into my salon schedule. The first month that I was back, I was fully booked with my own clients from my Instagram. There were so many transitions going on within Carlton Hair as a company at that time. So I actually ended off as manager of the store, and I had my own assistant, only being in the salon for 1.5 years. So that is a crazy start. And because everything was going so well and I felt really confident with what I was doing and where I was at so early on in my career, I started to get this thought going, which brought me back to my original thought of wanting to be independent and not work for anyone. So that was always in the back of my mind. But like I said, when you finish school, you don't know what's next, you know? You don't know how to go about getting into a salon, whether or not it's going to be easy to get into a salon. So I said yes to that opportunity, but I always had in mind that I would not stay there. 1.5 years later, that's when I started to look into salons and see what was out there and what I could do. And I came across Ricadonna, which is where I'm at now. And at that time when I found it, it actually was not even opened yet. It was still in construction, remodel, and all of that. So I had the location secured, but I had to wait, I think, another like 2 months, 2-3 months before I could actually move into the salon. Since the salon was new, I did have the option of renting a chair or renting a studio, but even though I was ready to move on, I wasn't ready for the commitment of a studio because it costs a lot more and I would have to furnish it and do all of that. So I definitely knew that I wanted to move forward, but I didn't think that I could do the studio life just yet. So I came into the salon just renting the station, and you rent the station, the chair, you get a little bit of storage space, but it's in an open floor. So I was there for 1 year and it was fine. I enjoyed it. I liked it. The only thing is that I didn't really fit in. I was the youngest stylist. I didn't know anybody where everybody else knew each other. It was like 2 huge groups that came from other salons. So they were all like friends of years, and then there's me, and I'm the youngest one, and I'm doing this crazy work that doesn't blend into what everybody else is doing. So that was one reason that I moved up to my studio, which is where I'm at now. Another reason is that, oh my god, it gets so loud downstairs. There's probably like 20 stylists down there, and every stylist is double, triple booked at once. So it was so loud, all the blow dryers going, one conversation is loud, so the other one has to be even louder. So it was just too much chaos for me. I work better alone, reserved, in a quiet, peaceful environment, which is why I decided to move upstairs. Finally, a studio became available and I came up here and I was ready for the commitment. I was no longer scared, and I just went for it. If you've been to my studio, you know that it's super peaceful, super relaxed, quiet. The music is always on point. So it's just like my home away from home. So I want it to be comfortable and relaxing and a place where I can enjoy spending most of my time. At this point, I have been licensed for 6 years. It all started with a passion for makeup, which, funny story, once I finished school, I no longer wanted to do makeup. I just wanted to go into hair, and I never pursued makeup after that. Of course, I still enjoy doing my makeup, and sometimes I'll still do like my friends and family's makeup just for fun, but I never marketed it as my career. It's been such a crazy journey. I've loved every step of the way. It's always a learning experience. You never stop learning, and the only way for you to learn is to just go for it. Just do it. You just have to be confident in what you do, the way that you deliver things. You know, when they say you never work a day in your life if you love what you do, or something like that, it's true. If you love what you do, it never becomes a hassle. I'm excited to come to work every single day because every client is a different experience. Even if I have 5 clients in a row who want to do balayage, every client is going to be a different process and a different end result because everyone comes in with a different canvas. So that is the story of my career. I have been licensed for 6 years. I can't even believe that it's been 6 years. Anytime a new client asks me like, oh, how long have you been doing this? I have to think about it. And when I say the number, I don't even know whether it feels like it just flew by or whether it feels like I've been doing this for so long, because it just comes so natural to me. And I know that all of my clients that have experienced a service with me can tell that I genuinely love what I do. So happy with what I've accomplished, with everyone that I've met, all the classes that I've taken. I personally taught my first class earlier this year as well, and all the stylists that I've met and have had the opportunity to work with and learn from. I'm just so grateful that I chose this career. And you know, now that I think about it, it did start with a passion for makeup, but it was also the fact that I was not a schoolgirl and I did not want to go to college and do like a 9-to-5 career. So I'm happy that even though I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly, I did know that I always wanted to be independent, work for myself, not have a boss, not have a boring 9-to-5 job. That was the one thing that I knew and stuck with me the whole time. Thank you so much for watching the video, for continually supporting me. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to drop a like. If you have any specific questions, comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications. And hopefully I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.